Cheryl Strayed wrote in her book, Wild, From Lost to Found on the Pacific Coast Trail. It had nothing to do with gear or footwear or the backpacking fads or philosophies of any particular era or even with getting from point A to point B. It had to do with how it felt to be in the wild, with what it was like to walk for miles with no reason other than to witness the accumulation of trees and meadows, mountains and deserts, streams and rocks, rivers and grasses, sunrises and sunsets. The experience was powerful and fundamental. It seemed to me that it had always felt like this to be human in the wild, and as long as the wild existed, it will always feel this way. Have you ever heard of Kings Canyon National Park in California? Well, this very famous Pacific Crest Trail, made famous by the book Wild, goes through it, and Kings Canyon is spectacular. Often overshadowed by its more famous neighbor Sequoia National Park and nearby Yosemite, Kings Canyon National Park is often overlooked by visitors when in this area of California. In this video, we'll share our visit to the incredible Kings Canyon National Park in Central California. Welcome to Hipfig. If you're a travel enthusiast, then join our community by subscribing to this channel. This is the Beautiful America Travel Guide series for visitors to the U.S. National Parks, Monuments, and Natural Reserves. This episode is the Kings Canyon National Park in California Travel Guide for new visitors. Kings Canyon National Park is located along California Highway 180 and Generals Highway, also known as California Highway 198, in Central California. It's adjacent and north of Sequoia National Park and south of Yosemite National Park. We flew from Seattle to Fresno, California with the airport code FAT and rented a car. For more information on Fresno Yosemite International Airport, Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks, check out Hipfig's video on our website or YouTube channel. We drove from Fresno on a beautiful sunny day in summer to Kings Canyon National Park's entrance at Big Stump along Highway 180. From Fresno, Kings Canyon National Park is about 60 miles and took us an hour and a half, which includes a short bathroom break. We took California Highway 99 south and then exited at exit 133B onto California 180 east, which led us to the Big Stump entrance of Kings Canyon National Park. If you are coming from Sequoia National Park, take California Highway 198 east, also known as Generals Highway, to California 180 east to Kings Canyon Visitor Center. FYI, Highway 198 goes through Sequoia National Park and ends when it meets Highway 180. If you're coming from Yosemite National Park from the southern entrance at Wawona on Highway 41, Kings Canyon National Park is about 130 miles and will take about 3 hours. Set your GPS to the Big Stump entrance of Kings Canyon National Park. From San Francisco, Kings Canyon National Park is 250 miles and will take about 5 hours. Again, set your GPS to the Big Stump entrance of Kings Canyon National Park. In the valley driving up, there were miles of farmland with vineyards and fruit trees, as well as cattle grazing in the open fields. For your information, as you go up the hill, the road becomes narrower and windy, so please follow the posted speeds and enjoy the beautiful terrain as you drive through the change of scenery from valley to alpine terrain. Once we got to the Big Stump entrance of Kings Canyon, there was a long line waiting to get in. The fee for Kings Canyon National Park is $35 per vehicle, including all the passengers, and individual entry is $20 for a single person traveling on foot or by bike. The pass is valid for 7 days in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks and Hume Lake District of Sequoia National Forest, Giant Sequoia National Monument. We have a National Park annual pass, so we went through the express booth on the left side. To save time in line, you can purchase this pass and others in advance at www.yourpassnow.com. If you need to purchase a pass, you can pay by cash or credit card at the booth on the right. Once we got to the booth, we were greeted by the park ranger and given a map of the park. By the way, if you have kids and want to do the Junior Ranger program, ask the ranger if they have the Junior Ranger book to get your kids started. Kings Canyon National Park is similar terrain to Sequoia National Park in Yosemite Valley, and it also features the deepest canyon in the United States at over 1.5 miles deep. In this Kings Canyon National Park in California, you can not only see deep valleys, but mountainous trees and distinctive rock formations and caves. Kings Canyon has two distinct areas, Grant Grove and Cedar Grove. The most popular area is Grant Grove and Village. This is where you'll find Kings Canyon Visitor Center, accommodations, market, restaurant, and the famous General Grant tree. We drove to Grant Grove first as it's closest from the Big Stump entrance. The Visitor Center and Grant Grove Village is located 3 miles east of Big Stump entrance. It was pretty busy, but we got lucky and found a parking spot. We started at the Kings Canyon Visitor Center in Grant Grove Village. The Kings Canyon Visitor Center is open daily year-round, January 1st to mid-March from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., from mid-March until mid-May from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., from mid-May to Labor Day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and from October 15th through December 31st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Once we got to Grant Village, we saw the John Muir Lodge. There's also the Grant Grove Cabins, which is less expensive and more basic accommodations. If you need to eat or drink something, there is the Grant Grove Restaurant or the Grant Grove Market, which were very busy when we arrived. There's also an ATM and a post office in this area. Once we entered the Kings Canyon Visitor Center, we talked to the rangers and learned more about various trails, the High Sierras, and the giant sequoias through its displays and small movie area in the middle of the center. There was an attached shop selling books, maps, and gifts. By the way, the Grant Grove Market is good for groceries, beer, and wine, and camping basics, and the Grant Grove gift shop sells clothes, Native American arts and crafts, and other local souvenirs. Just down Highway 180 is the General Grant tree in Grant Grove in Kings Canyon National Park. From Grant Grove Village, we made a right on Highway 180. We drove about a mile and made a left towards the Grant Grove area. Signs are posted along Highway 180. The General Grant tree is the second largest tree in the world, standing 267 feet tall and nearly 29 feet wide at the base. The General Grant tree is 3,000 years old and is the second largest sequoia tree in the world. When we arrived in the parking lot of Grant Grove, it was very full and busy, but people were always leaving, so be patient and wait around for a parking spot to open up. From the parking lot of Grant Grove, there is a 1/3 mile paved loop trail which leads to the General Grant tree. We decided to go right on the trail. Along this loop trail, there are various giant trees as well as the fallen monarch and the centennial stump. It's pretty amazing to walk around these giant sequoia trees, just absolutely beautiful and so tall. I especially enjoyed walking through the 300-plus-year-old fallen monarch redwood tree, aka the dead monarch, which gives a sense of how huge these trees actually are. By the way, did you know that it was used as a hotel and saloon as well as a stable back in the day? Make sure that you make some time to go through this tree. It's absolutely amazing. We finally ended at the trail at the General Grant tree. The General Grant tree measures 270 feet tall and 170 feet around its base. The tree was named in 1867 for Ulysses S. Grant and was coined the nation's Christmas tree by President Calvin Coolidge. We continued through the trail and we passed the historic Gamblin cabin built in 1872 by the Gamblin brothers. The Gamblin brothers cabin was repurposed later as the first park ranger station when Kings Canyon became a national park. It's good for a quick look at life in the late 1800s. Other trails you might be interested in this area are the North Groove Loop, which is a 1.5-mile trail which goes past meadows and creeks, the Buena Vista Peak, which is a 2-mile round-trip hike up to Granite Peak, or the Redwood Canyon, which is 2 miles down a rough dirt road, which leads into the largest of all the sequoia groves. After our leisurely hike, we drove back and made a left on Highway 180 towards Cedar Grove, passing through the Overlook area. You'll see a typo next in this video. It should say Overlook. The Overlook area of Kings Canyon National Park eventually leads to Cedar Grove in the valley. We continued onto Kings Canyon Scenic Byway, aka California Highway 180. As you drive down the Overlook area, there are many pullouts on the road to see the North Dome and Grand Sentinel rock formations, as well as the Sierra Nevada mountains. Highway 180 goes down 35 miles east of Grant Grove and ends at Cedar Grove. And at Cedar Grove, you'll see towering cliffs, massive trees, cascading waterfalls, the powerful Kings River and Kings Canyon, which inspired the park's name. The road into Cedar Grove is open until noon on November 12th. Until November 12th, wilderness permits can only be obtained from the road's end permit station at the end of Highway 180. Outside of the quota season, permits are self-issued and are located in a drop box just outside of the station. Please be advised that the road to the canyon floor is windy and narrow. Please drive the posted speed and make sure to use the downshift gear in your car. When going down this stretch of highway, please put your gear shift in 1, 2, or low. The engine may get louder, but it'll slow you down and it'll save your brakes from burning out. Remember that frequent braking can overheat brakes, causing them to fail. If you'd like to stop to view the scenery, please pull into a paved turnout area. Hot brakes and mufflers can start fires in dry grass. Remember that wildlife always have the right of way in national parks, and often their appearance to visitors are a surprise encounter. Please drive slowly and cautiously and use paved turnouts to view wildlife. The Cedar Grove area is one of the less visited areas of Kings Canyon National Park. The drive down will take about an hour or more, depending on the number of stops. Cedar Grove is the deepest canyon in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Make sure to pack a picnic lunch, water, bathing suit, sunscreen, and hiking shoes when visiting this area. Our first stop was near a picnic area along Kings River. We really enjoyed picnicking along this roaring river area. A few feet from this picnic area is the Boyden Caverns. For an additional fee of $16, you can tour the caves. Please make sure you are physically fit to take this tour. The walk up to the caverns is a very steep walk that takes most people about 5 to 10 minutes. Once you're inside the cave, you'll need to duck, stoop, walk on loose rocks, walk up and down stairs and slopes, and navigate slippery areas. The tour will go about 750 feet into the cave. Tours run at the top of each hour and runs 40 to 60 minutes round trip. You can purchase tickets online or at the ticket booth inside the gift shop. We didn't go on this cave tour, as we had gone one on the Crystal Cave tour in Sequoia National Park and wanted to explore the Cedar Grove Valley with the time we had. The drive to Cedar Grove area is quite lovely as it goes along Kings River. We stopped at Grizzly Falls. There's a small parking lot and restrooms for this trail. You can access the base of this 80-foot Grizzly waterfall via a short and easy 0.1 mile round-trip trail. Once we parked, we walked up past the Grizzly Falls picnic area, and on a dirt path, we walked to the waterfall. We walked up to the base and watched the waterfall crash on the granite rocks as we felt the power when we got wet from the mist. The amount of water depends on the time of year and the amount of snow. Since we were there in summer, the water was still flowing. When we visited, many people were playing at the base of the falls. We lingered here for a while, soaking up the sun and playing in the water. And when we had our fill, we returned to our car. We continued on California Highway 180 to make our way to the Cedar Grove Visitor Center, which is open in summer from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Visitor Center generally closes after Labor Day weekend. Cedar Grove is located at the bottom of Kings Canyon, 30 miles east of Grant Grove. It's next to Sentinel Campground. The Cedar Grove area in Kings Canyon National Park reminds me a lot of Yosemite Valley, but with a lot less people. The Cedar Grove area is King Canyon's valley, which has a small visitor center, many campgrounds, and lots of hiking trails. We wanted to drive to the end of Highway 180 first. A popular trail here is Zumwalt Meadows, which is a 1.5-mile scenic trail which has views of the granite walls, green meadows, and free-flowing Kings River. The trail here is flat and the meadow is lush, especially in late spring and early summer. Parking for Kings Canyon Zumwalt Meadow is available 4 miles east of Cedar Grove Village turnoff. After Zumwalt Meadow, we drove to the end of Highway 180, which leads to the Wilderness Trails. Highway 180 loops around at the end back to the road towards Grant Grove. There are multiple parking lots here to park your car to go on wilderness trails. On the way back, we drove to the Cedar Grove Visitor Center. When we reached the Cedar Grove Visitor Center and Village, we parked in the parking lot. There was ample parking. The visitor center was small and in a cabin. The park ranger was friendly and helped us determine trails and gave us some information about the area. In this area, you can find the Don Cecil Trailhead, which is a moderate trail that climbs the north-facing slope of the canyon. This historic trail was the major access route to Cedar Grove prior to the completion of Highway 180 in 1939. You can climb up a ravine for an amazing view of the Monarch Divide. If you go up 1 mile further, there's the glen with small waterfalls called the Sheep Creek Cascade. For other trails in this area, including parts of the Pacific Crest Trail, check at the Visitor Center or the Mineral King Ranger Station, which is open from May 24th to September 23rd, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kings Canyon National Park is highly recommended and will require at least 1 whole day or more depending on your interest. Happy travels! Go to hipfig.com for more information, or go to our Hipfig travel channel on YouTube and be sure to subscribe for regular updates.